Hello, friends. It's Saturday morning. Uh, Thailand, after 9. It's evening time in the U.S. And today we'll be talking about several different things as people have actually asked questions and made comments and whatnot. One of the questions that was asked, I think that it was by you, that the asking about Tibetan empowerment. Is that correct?
That's from Eddie. He's not here today.
Oh, okay. So, talk a little bit about empowerment. Now, uh, here's the point about the empowerment of the Tibetan is that number one, and the big part of it is that it's a ceremony. It's a ceremony where the famous teacher or guru gives some sort of permission to the student start some practice, some tantra, some meditation technique, or whatever like that. It's ordinary, done for ordinary people in an ordinary setting because it has no real value in and of itself. In other words, what's transmitted isn't real. It's only mental. So it feels real because we all think that our mental stuff is real, but there's no real transmission from the teacher to the guru. It's all make believe and pretend. I'll give you an example that may be more valuable in that sense. In Christianity, they have, especially in Protestant Christianity, like the Baptists, they will take sometimes an adult, mostly it's a teenager or a child around the age of 9 or 10, and give him a baptism. Now, if the baptism was real, then it would be a real change in life right then and there. But in fact, baptism is merely a ceremony, and that the child or the adult who receives that baptism doesn't pay much, and any change is small and not lasting. It was just a ceremony. Uh, Another example be a wedding, where they take wedding vows till death do us part. We found out that that doesn't work. There is no wedding vows one can take that is not subject to a divorce. What's subject to a divorce is normally the laws of the land, not the vow. So this is where empowerment uh, in Tibetan becomes the ceremony, not real. To where uh, in the time of the Buddha, and a good example is on the fire sermon, where the monks ordained, not a ceremony, it was really the going forth. The Buddha said probably 3 words, Eki, uh, Bhikkhave, uh, Passiko, come and see. Now, there is no ceremony to it. Now, nowadays, when monks ordain, there is a lot of ceremony, asking a set of questions, basically to make sure that the ordinate is healthy, doesn't have tuberculosis and cholera, and, smallpox, and I think that there are 6 items that are asked. And also, during the ceremony, the four parajikas are mentioned, but not all of the patimokkha, because the parajikas are the ones that would, let us say, nullify the ordination. So it's still no big deal. And yet in Thailand, for the family, especially the mother, it is a really, really big deal because of some of the superstitions that they have. Um, but the going forth, in reality, there's nothing much. It's already the situation of the mindset of the individual. And that our Dhamma group, as you'll notice, have not set up any nation or any qualification or anything like that, that it has to do with, are you going to practice or not? And that's up to each individual person, as whether they're going to practice uh, the noble Dhamma. Now, in Sutra number 118, Buddha talks about wrong view, right view, and a super mundane right view, which would be the middle path. Wrong view is at one extreme that we can call nihilism, and right ordinary view would be eternalism. Now, there are dangers for each, and most people will fall philosophically, let us say, in one of the two groups. The ones that have wrong view are more than likely not going to ever practice, and that the those who are on the eternalist side take up a practice, but it generally is a gradual path because they think they've got time. Now, the danger of one who is um, on view, when he hears the noble Dhamma, he will. I've heard the term spiritual bypassing, where the student thinks they've already attained everything that there is to attain, and they look at it from that attainment point, and that they'll sometimes say, "I'm already enlightened," or "You can't help me," or things like that. That you will also hear from a sociopath or a psychopath. But sometimes ordinary people with ordinary wrong view become a psychopath by hearing the noble Dhamma. This is why it's necessary, and yet I don't take strong point on this, is to make sure that the student is ready for the noble Dhamma, so that he won't, let us say, springboard from uh, being not okay to practice into, not only am I okay, but I'm better than everybody else. Now, the eternalists, those that have ordinary right view, they tend to want to have a gradual path. And so the danger that they have is that when they hear that there is the immediate path of practicing right here, right now, they don't like it. One thing, they can't exploit it or make any money off of it. And so the gradual path has a number of features to it. One is that the teacher maintains a position of being better than everybody else, all the students. The teacher has to be in charge. Number two is that there is a set of procedures, rituals, let us say even things like lighting, hard wooden floors in the Dhamma hall. In fact, the Dhamma hall itself and all of that is designed for people to have experience that is experience oriented. It has a particular procedure. And one of the points about it also is that it has to be maintained. In other words, the teacher's status is dependent upon him maintaining his student. But if he has no student, he's got no status. In other words, this is all ego trip. And that goes back to that empowerment ceremony. Much for the guru to maintain his power, it is for the student taking the empowerment ceremony in order for him to get on the path. And so the main distinction then is going to be no path at all, a gradual path, or the noble path. And that the big distinction between the noble path and the gradual path is that the gradual path will find several different kinds of excuses, many different kinds of excuses, in order to maintain their position of making progress. And so we can think of the noble path is the light switch on or off. Are you practicing correctly right here, right now? Are you having holy thoughts right here, right now? Are you having unholy thoughts and not practicing right here, right now? The gradual path is much more like a stat or a volume control. They hope that if they keep practicing, volume will go up. Are also highly interested in experiences. That in fact, ordinary people are looking for experiences. Like there's a difference in experience between sitting at mom's table and having the food at mom's is going out to a restaurant for the first time. There's also a difference in experience between eating at McDonald's and eating at a fine Italian restaurant. So we're all looking for experiences. This is why we have such a huge entertainment industry, Hollywood and television. You know, 100 years ago, before they had electric power, uh, there was a lot of performances done. An example of that is that in 1900, more than 40% of the households in the United States had a piano. Now, a piano in a household, especially an upright that has wires, that kind of stuff, less than 1%. Why is that? Because people don't use a piano for their entertainment anymore. They've got friends, and they've got Gunsmoke. Tell my age. All kinds of different ways of having experiences nowadays. And so those that are on the gradual path are looking for experiences through their spiritual search. And that the experience then would be, let us say, a hallmark, an indication of practice or development. An example of that is the first time that a student reaches first jhana, they think that it's special. So instead of continuing to cultivate the way that they did so that they can have first jhana over and over again, what happens instead is that they attach that first time they had first jhana and then try to duplicate that experience. They like that experience, they wanted that experience, to where the first jhana is actually not experience oriented. It's much more of a state of mind, and that the experiences that we have vary when the mind is in first jhana, just like your experiences varies when the mind is in an ordinary state. But it's lust for experiences and doing ceremonies and doing rituals and other things like that in order to create an entertainment experience is what you'll find in, gosh, not just Hollywood and television. You'll find it at the First Baptist Church, you'll find it at the Mass, you'll find it in any religion, and you'll find it in the Vipassana meditation halls, you can find it in the Wats in Thailand, that people go to the Wat to have an experience as opposed to going to the Wat to be friends with the nobles who are no longer looking for experience because they're already okay. So that practice then is what we need because we've got a lot of old habits. Now, the old habits can be thought of in several different ways. In fact, the English language word habit doesn't quite fit any of the language of the time of the Buddha, and neither does memory. That when I have used the word memory in the past, I probably didn't quite get it, that the student was thinking of a different kind of memory. For instance, remembering the past, reconstructing, and by the way, whenever you remember the past, you're reconstructing it in the mind. And that we often reconstruct memories in the mind for the reason of entertainment, uh, time passing. Uh, so we entertain ourselves, and oftentimes we entertain ourselves with a horror movie other than a musical. So, in fact, horror movies are quite common. Mentioned about people having panic attacks. That means that they're playing out a horror movie in their mind. There is no snake, there is no monster, there is no Frankenstein's monster, uh, there is no Dracula or any of the other things that we have in the mind. Made that up, and we make it up because that's the style that we have. So people who are, let us say, making up horror movies will continue in the habit of making up horror movies. What I was actually meaning by memory was propensity to repeat. An example of that would be muscle memory. In reality, muscles don't remember anything, not the way that you would use the word of constructing the past. So when I'm using the word memory, I'm not talking about the past, I'm talking about propensity or the energy that's behind it. This is why I use the word memory when I'm talking about Sankara. And that the word Sankara can be thought of in different ways. There is a Santo, and Sankararati. Sankara is actually used in both cases, but technically it's a noun that's used as a verb. So when I've used the word memory and I'm talking about it, I use often the possibility of a library that instead of having a book properly cataloged according to some system like the Dewey Decimal System or for uh, fiction, be alphabetical according to the author. Imagine the library is just a big pile of books. Now, when I use the word Sankara, I often point that the Sankaras is big, but a better way of looking at it actually is the energy behind piling. So there's a difference between the pile and the piling. The piling is something that we do in the moment. And also another way of using the word piling is looking for something. And so we are in the process of manufacturing, for instance, entertainment. We're in the process of accumulating. Now, there's a kind of a difference between the accumulating process and the accumulation. An example would be that for most of my adult life, all of my life, in fact, I considered and called my sister a rat. But there's a difference between being a pack rat in the sense of having a packing versus the accumulating mind of wanting to accumulate, wanting to pack in, and we all are out there wanting to pack in experiences. But Buddha teaches that packing in of experiences and the piling up of experiences is all on fire. It all burns. And that the Sankara actually is the basic fire in the sense of wanting to gain, wanting to grasp, wanting to get, rather than becoming really satisfied with what we have right here, right now. The Noble Path is looking at a number of different levels at the same time when the student remembers in the present moment, sati, looks at what they're doing and saying, oh, everything is all right. They make a change from their ordinary pack ratting, accumulating, uh, piling on into the state of the pile is good enough like it is. Don't need to pile anything in there. Okay. Now you can see the one with the wrong view. If he takes that position, continue to pile on, continue to try to get his way, continue to bully other people and psychopath his way through life. But his uh, position is, I'm better than other people because I've heard the Noble Dhamma and I've heard that I'm okay and everybody else thinks I'm not okay. But that's just a style of behavior that some people have, whether they've ever heard the Noble Dhamma or not. And so the Noble Dhamma is not actually the cause of wrong view becoming a bully. And in fact, another way of bullying is to try from the ordinary right position of getting everybody to follow my rule. Why? Because if you follow my rule, you will have certain kinds of experiences, and those certain kind of experiences are better than if you don't follow rules. Now that's probably not, but that's the belief, based upon belief. In fact, that's the hallmark of ordinary right view, is that it's based upon beliefs. Beliefs in rules, beliefs in rituals, beliefs in value of things, carrying on one thing after another. In other words, if those Tibetan has an empowerment ceremony, or if the Christian becomes baptized, that baptism ceremony will, of value, automatically improve him in the future, to where that's not the case. The reality is that he is only going to improve his uh, behavior in the future by remembering right here, right now, in this moment, remembering change. So this is a major point, is that when one has noble mind states, they are not looking to accumulate students. They're not looking to accumulate techniques. They're not looking to accumulate value. And because of that, no reason to maintain by more accumulation. That the arahat or the noble is just already okay. He doesn't need to accumulate anything. Now, what makes that different from the student who is beginning to practice the noble Dhamma? The difference is that when the beginning student practicing for the first time remembers to look, to change, and to relax and to congratulate himself, it's basically the same place that the arahat is in that moment. The situation, though, is that the arahat will remember again and again and again and again, and the noble student who practices one time may like it, he may delight in it, first experience as an experience, cling to it, and not practice anymore. Or when he's practicing, he thinks he's practicing. What he's actually practicing is trying to create the experience that he had, other than being in this present moment and being okay right here, right now. But if we continue to practice correctly, build a new kind of sankara. The new kind of sankara, other than feeling and accumulating, the new kind of sankara is uh, everything is big enough. Need to add anything new. Pretty complete. Memory, our pile of junk, our pile of money, our pile of people, our pile of being a teacher, already good enough, doesn't need to be maintained. Even if the pile decreases, still okay with the pile just as it is. We don't need to continue to pile on. Now, part of that noble path, then, being able to see more clearly as we continue to practice correctly, we see more clearly other ways that we're piling on, other ways that we are accumulating stuff. And so there are skills that are developed. That first time that the student changes from not okay to okay, the first time the student practices wholesome thought, in that moment, that's noble. An example, only the meditation hall, the student stubs his toe, let's say, or has a mosquito bite, or maybe mosquitoes in his mind and he bites his mind. And say, oh, when I get into the meditation hall, I'm going to clean that out. When I get to the meditation hall, I'll deal with my stubbed toe, or I'll deal with mosquito bite, or I'll deal with the mental mosquito bite. That's the quality of putting it off. That's the gradual path. The noble minded student, even if it's the first time that he's noble, he can say, oh, I've stubbed my toe. Let me stop and deal with that right now. I've got a mosquito bite. Let me nourish that mosquito bite right here, right now. That's quality of the distinction between the uh, gradual path and the noble path. So let me give you this example. On the gradual path, they'll think that they'll turn the dial up someday uh, and become enlightened someday. Maybe. Maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't. I'll continue to work at getting the the rheostat or the body control high enough. I will call it enlightened, gradual path. As opposed to flipping the switch right now and having the noble mentality. Now, the noble is not concerned about experiences or labels. He's just in the consideration of right now is good enough. Good enough. This is fine. I'm satisfied the way things are now. I don't need to call myself enlightened because I'm already okay. Enlightenment is a goal yonder, as opposed to right here, right now, just okay. So, if we continue to practice, we'll build up those skills of being okay in this present moment. Now, in the suttas, it's in the Sutta Nipata, which is a very early things like Paticca Samuppada, not so formalized and systematized. The concept of how things flow. The Buddha knew that from the very beginning. That's you can tell that in the prior sermon, which was the third talk that he gave. But in the Sutta Nipata, it has the story of the guy is out running. He's on his way. He's in a hurry to get to town. And then he has the insight of why should I run when I can walk? Which means now his piling on of getting there in a hurry, he's not piling on. He's gotten an insight. And why should I run when I could walk? And as he begins to walk, he begins to see, for instance, a shade tree right up. And he says, why do I walk when I could stand in the shade? So he's getting more. He's getting less piling on now. He's going to stand. And then while he's standing, he has the further insight, the further realization, why should I stand when I can sit? So he sits down. And then finally he says, why should I get up when I could just lie down and just take it easy? So this is the quality then of our practice is skill is developed from stopping the running to just merely, let us say, prancing or meandering our way through life. And then more insight comes, and we can just sort of stand there and let things happen by themselves. And then further insight, why should we even stand it? We can just sit down for it and just let things happen, still in the present moment. In fact, this individual is far more likely to be in reality than the runner, because the runner is not in the reality of the shade tree. In his mind, getting to town, thinking about town. In fact, he's making up stories, horror stories. Oh, if I don't get to town in time, I'll lose all my money. Or if I don't get to town in time, boss is going to beat me or something ridiculous like that. We just make up stories. But when we learn to sit down or even lie down and just take it easy in this mental present moment, that's the noble who is able to see reality as it actually is without seeing reality plus the experience that I'm looking for or the experience that I'm having. And so reality is almost always tainted by either the story that we're having, the experience that we're having, some experience or some old story floods in and actually, let's say, alters reality from what it actually is. Now, many people that I have heard ordinarily say, you just don't understand the situation. You don't understand the reality. It's like, perhaps you have too, is that body can remain calm and passive, just doesn't understand the situation. Okay, what that means then, the guy who said that is that he has an understanding of the situation, not as it actually is, but he's piling on his meaning, his purpose, his desires, etc., like that, into the actual reality. When people say, I don't want that kind of reality. I want the kind of reality that I dream up, that I make up. I'm not interested in real reality at all. And so we make stuff up in order to enhance the reality because the reality is not good enough. But it was ourselves made up. It's not good enough. Reality is that it is good enough. That's the real reality. Is saying things are already okay, and that it's the made up reality that tells us that it's not okay. But if we can remember to look and to see that story different than the actual reality doesn't mean that we have to make reality conform to our story. Rather, let us drop the story, just be real in and of itself. So, Ivan, what do you think?
I really like when you said, like enhancing reality, and like in the sutta, the Buddha never said any of that word, right? He never expressed enhancing reality or whatever. It's just it this is something like in a lot of new age spirituality, like even like Western Buddhism, sometimes they talk about it, like they talk about it in that way, like improving reality and stuff like that. I find that really funny. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, all of those that are on the gradual path are looking for that rheostat or that volume control to go up based upon a kick from experience, a kick from their desire experience, other than just recognizing that they could already up, already satisfied in the present moment without having to put a lot of labels on things. So, Alec, what do you have to say? Good to see you, by the way, Alec. Been a while since you've been on the call.
His headphone is muted, so he cannot hear us. I think maybe he's doing something.
I see that he's got some icon of his headphones are blocked rather than a microphone muted.
Right. So basically, he can't hear us. Like maybe he's doing something.
Oh, all right. Oh, Christopher T, good to see you too, friend. Christopher, what do you have to say about today's talk? Gigi, let me hear it.
Hello, Sangha. Hello, Dhammarato. Hello. Today's talk
Hello,
was
hello.
beautiful. It was a little hard to hear you sometimes because there was a little bit of the glitching going on. But I guess I would say is I went through the gradual path, and so now the noble path is super easy. And that's what I would say about my testimony.
Making a good point that a point plus the point that was made a previous call about the prior sermon is that the ascetics, the practitioners of the fire worship, the fire worshippers, were skilled at ceremonies of fire. They were also matted hair. They were well skilled in morality. They were well skilled in sitting and watching a fire, going into trances, uh, let us say, having what Westerners would call meditation skills. And so by practicing the gradual path for a long time means that when they get onto the noble path, remember often, and they can become accomplished very quickly. It is said that of the 500 students of Kalama and his brothers, each having 200 and 300 students, that there was 1,000 fire worshippers who had ordained under the teaching of the Buddha. And when he gave the fire sermon to them, that fire is in you. It's not the fire in the temple. It's not a sacred fire. The fire burning on the inside. And when they heard that, they already had to put that fire out right here, right now, and to make sure that it's extinguished. That's why they were all accomplished in one sermon, because they were already highly skilled on the gradual path. But the point about the gradual path is that no one there. They keep cranking up the volume and cranking up the volume just like audiophiles. Buy an amplifier and then they'll buy a bigger amplifier and then have a 300 watt amplifier and now they've got their whole all amplifier. They want it, and that's the gradual path. When on the gradual path, one changes looking for experiences into just being okay, when they've got the skills to do that very quickly. And that's what you're saying, that you're beginning to gain great value from the noble path because you're practicing it often. So congratulations, Gigi.
Thank you, Dhammarato. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like my sword had to be sharpened, and it was sharpened in that way. And or I could also say that the noble path is so simple that I had to go through that path to be able to handle the simplicity of the noble path.
Boy, I'm not sure whether it's possible for a beginner and one person to be able to practice the noble path. Oh, something happened. Am I on still on? Oh, there we go.
Go on. Yep, you're clear.
All right. Okay. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is scroll through so that I can see the names of the people who are online. I lost everything. So, as we were saying, is actually valuable to have been on a gradual path and didn't hear the noble that the beginner who has no path and no experience, whatever like that, they may even know what the noble path is, but they don't have the memory skills. They don't have the mind skill to be able to do it.
Yes, exactly.
And I have seen people given very good and proper instruction to retreat, and then they leave the retreat early because they weren't able to remember that they're here to actually practice being happy. And so they wind up having a lot of thoughts about being at home, thoughts about this hard work and all kinds of things, other than, hey, they've taken my cell phone and my tablet and all of my comfort items away so that I can deal with my mind directly. And instead, they say they took all of that stuff away and now I'm miserable. So that's how all beginners work. I would not recommend, but there's no other way to do it than start practicing somehow or another. Further you practice in the gradual path, the easier the noble path will be once you start it. But also,
Great.
I would say, go
I'm
ahead.
so glad you said that because I never actually heard you say that before yet, and I'm completely new here, so of course I haven't caught everything yet. But I never heard you say so clearly that actually, yeah, you kind of got to go through that if you're completely green to it. Of course, not everyone does. Some people slip right into it, but most of us, we do have to go through that sharpening period.
I would say that those who slip right into it have developed some kind of skill. Now, the some kind of skill is like a different variety of skill, but whatever skills they develop it to a high degree. An example would be someone who has been practicing martial arts 10 years, and then he hears the Noble Dhamma. He may, because of the skill training of his body and the practice and the intensity of putting in, he can begin to say, wow, immediately, this that I put in has been backwards, and I can just now can retire. So you can use that example, many different things. You could use that for a football player who is a high speed. He's going to be able to practice the Noble Dhamma much quicker than your high school football star. So it depends upon the skills that one has developed in life that skill then determine how fast. Still, the question is, can you remember practice? That's the whole point. Can you remember to keep coming back to everything is all right, everything is fine, I'm satisfied with the way things are, and I can continue to practice that way. And there's some skills in some professions be useful in that. So the skills that they picked up in ordinary life, like the skills on the gradual path, or the skills of body masters, or the skills of, let us say, even a concert violinist, because you know that a concert violinist has put in thousands and thousands of hours practicing the violin, very good at the skill of practice. If they start fine tuning their own mind the way that they practice violin, they'll get that noble Dhamma quick. A good example of that, by the way, is a dude called Franz Liszt. I don't know if any of you are into musicology and know about him, but his life was that he lived as a monk. He was a layman, but he lived in a cathedral because the cathedral had a pipe organ and a piano that he didn't have access to otherwise, and he spent about 8 hours a day practicing piano and another 8 hours a day sitting in meditation. So I would say then that if I had Franz Liszt as a student, we would have a noble immediately. So thanks for bringing that up, Gigi.
Yeah, I'm grateful I did too, because I learned something new. Thank you. And are you feeling well?
Pardon?
Are you feeling well because you're laying down? I was just wondering.
I'm laying down so that I feel better, that when I get up to go out to the porch to give the talks, there are repercussions from that. A lot of belly pain, etc.
All right, I hope you feel better soon. Thank you for
Well,
teaching anyway.
right now I feel great. Better soon. I'm already okay. So, educated. Hoping that you're no longer miseducated today. I think you've got it. What do you think?
Hello. Good to be here. Well, I think that it's a relief to know I don't have to find a guru to initiate me and go through any special ceremony. That I simply can initiate myself by paying attention to what's going on in my mind, and if I'm feeling bad, I redirect my own self to feeling good. I don't need an external guru to do it for me. That's awesome. And
That's by itself liberating.
yeah, very much so. And then the piano comes up a lot, and I'm just barely learning the keys, but it's a start.
Well, continue to practice. That's all there is to it. Is you're already okay. Remember, look at what the mind is doing and changing that into everything's all right, everything is fine, not a worry in the world, no danger. There is no fire, and I'm right now.
Yeah,
Practicing that over and over again, and pretty soon you'll get that as your habit.
yeah, and
If you
I caught myself going into really negative states, and I caught it pretty quickly, and I found that actually kind of fun.
ah,
Yeah.
the Buddha thought so too. He had that phrase, Mara, that's one thing that a lot of people misunderstand about the Buddha, because they look at perfection, and so they see the Buddha as a perfected being. But there's a whole section in the Samyutta Nikaya of 30 or 40 suttas, as well as many other places, where the story is that the Buddha was tempted with unwholesome thoughts, and he would see them immediately. I see you, Mara. And Mara would run away with his tail between his legs immediately. So, one who is accomplished is doing what we're already doing. He just remembers with that first thought, I that, where most of us will, let us say, be halfway through a horror movie in our mind before we decide to get up and leave that auditorium. So the further you practice your vision, quicker be able to leave that movie theater. You can recognize this movie. I'm the producer of this horror. Mr. Ben, what do you have to say?
Hey, Dhammarato, thank you for the call. Yeah, it's great to be able to stop making fires in the mind, stop making horror movies, and just lie down and enjoy the moment.
Yeah, just feel Everything is already okay. Oh, I don't know how to say the name. Muhammad? Are you there?
Okay, yes. Muhomor is this. I'm happy that I dropped the practice of focused based meditation, and I do this relaxing the tensions kind of meditation.
If you'll notice, the word meditation is really not used. I'd rather use the word practice and use words like anapanasati. That in fact, meditation would be what is practiced on the gradual path. But meditation also has the qualities of lighting and particular places, silence, a particular method of practice, particular set of teachers and procedures, etc., like that, even rules. To where what we're learning now, this whole noble path of the Buddha, doesn't have any of those. Doesn't have. In fact, the Buddha talks about all the postures, and walking and standing and lying down. The posture doesn't matter. The lighting and the facility and the cushion and the altar and candles and incense, and none of that matters. This is not meditation. This is not a procedure. This is something that's available to you right now, anytime, any place you are. You can be on the bus and practice. You can be on the train and practice. Be in jail and practice. Practice anytime, any place that you remember. And so this is why the word meditation is generally not used.
Yes, I agree. I actually practice now in many situations.
Because when you need it, it's there for you, because here you are. You're ready to practice. Can you imagine that the meditation has just gotten busted by the cop? The meditation student says, "Wait a minute, Mr. Cop, I've got to go to the meditation hall and get my mind so that I can have a conversation with you."
Yes.
So practice in advance. We practice early so that when the situation comes, we can handle it happily. So, welcome to our group. JK, good to see you also. What do you have to say?
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you, as always. Going back, I love the idea of the act of accumulating as its kind of own activity. That made me think of the terms we have the shopaholic and this
Yes.
idea of retail therapy, of like the act of shopping. And so for too long, I feel like I was a shopaholic of Buddhist knowledge. And I feel like it was, reading books, looking at all different flavors, almost like I wanted to play the piano, learn how to play the piano, and all I did was buy CDs of piano playing. And so I think here, just knowing like there's actually very little, not like I don't have to memorize a million Pali words and quote every sutta, just anapadasati, simple thing, like sit down at the piano and learn your first scale. And then when you come to a talk, like a Dhamma talk like this, you're informing that practice, right? You're not like just accumulating knowledge, you're really adding skills to your practice, and that has been so fun, and I think like a huge change and improvement in my personal practice and just overall happiness and having fun, with this group.
With all of these talks that has happened over the past 10 years, and in fact, next month will be the anniversary, our 10th anniversary of having these talks done online. The first talk was done 2016, March, middle March. That talk is still up. But every talk since then has had only one theme. And that one theme is look at what you're doing. And that's all we practice. And so all talks just for, let us say, motivational talks, people to motivate themselves into being okay right here, right now. Oh, Christina, you joined us late. What do you have to say?
And so it was actually good timing. So that's a really, really great writing that we've got on that book. So the lesson there is that everything's burning and to let go of it and to disenchant yourself from that, and then cooling happens instead of trying to do something with the burning, is what I got. It was really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yes, that way we can enjoy. That in fact, you just reminded me of something that someone asked. He says, what about procrastination and putting off the things that are really urgent? It's a very ordinary thing to say. How many of you have had that kind of thought? Oh, I need to get that done, but I don't want to do it. Okay? But I've got to do it because it's urgent. It's like taking a test or whatever like that. But realize that, in fact, back to the story of the runner was running to town because he had urgency in his mind. But someone can be sitting in the cafe saying, oh, I've got to run to town. But he's still not running to town. He's just sitting in the cafe worrying about that urgency that he's to do. Recognize that urgency is just another horror story, just another horror movie we tell ourselves. That nothing is really urgent. You're already okay. So, in fact, the reason that people put off urgent things because deep down inside they kind of know that it really isn't all of that urgent anyway. But the most important point about them putting it off and procrastinating is they don't want to do it. So this urgency and don't want to do it is part of the same package of on fire. Everything is not okay. But if the mind was okay and the business was there to do, but it wasn't urgent, then we can just go do the business happily. That's the whole point, is that the noble one who sees reality as it is and with it and happily, rather than seeing it urgent and yet to be avoided. Nick, hi.
How's it
Good.
going?
Yes. Are you still in Thailand?
I am still in Thailand. I'm in Trat on Koh Mak, and we have about a week left before we fly back to California. But it's been great, and yeah, no more accumulating crap, throwing it out of the mind, and being okay.
Yeah, the reason that we accumulate so much is because we're in the habit of accumulating. So when we stop accumulating, our pile is not so big. Well, how about you, Red?
Am I the last one? Before Mikey,
What?
of course. Am I the last one?
No, you're not the last one.
Can I go before Mikey? Because I want to encompass a question that may relate to someone else, and then I have some words to say, if you don't mind me, of course.
What is that?
No, it relates to being safe, secure, and comfortable. Just a laugh. It's nothing that important. Not important.
Yeah, nothing is important. Everything is already okay. Okay, Michael Swift.
Hey, Dhammarato, it's so good to be on here. There's so many different points in the talk that I took away from it to name any of them, but right here, right now, it's good enough. Everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Thank you very much, Dhammarato.
Everything is all right. You're welcome. Happy. All right, let's see. What about Alex? Alex, are you back yet? How about you, Christopher? Are you on yet? Hey, does anybody have any last things to say?
I do. If you don't mind me, I do. Yeah. What Christina was. Oh yes. No, go ahead.
His microphone is kind of muffled. Can you repeat what he said?
Go ahead, Red. Go ahead.
Okay. What Christina was saying is basically acquisition. It's you know that you just do that stuff right here, right now, but you haven't internalized that yet. You haven't acquired those concepts. So that's why it takes some time to do. It's a language that you're basically acquiring, like extrapolating the concept of language. May I say something else? No.
I'm still not quite following. Mikey, are you following what he's saying?
Yeah, but go ahead, Red. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like a language. If you know the concept of comprehensible input, you are acquiring those concepts, like absorbing them. So it takes some time to do that. It's a natural process for a lot of stuff, and looks like it's a lot that extrapolates beyond language. So it takes some time. It's fine. You do it right here, right now. Right then and there, you just find something new. Wow, you found it on the now. It's fine. So, but it takes some time to do. It's intellectually speaking, you may grasp the concept, but it's not immediate at all. It is not immediate. Like it takes some time. It's natural.
What makes it not easy, what makes it a fire, is that we want something. Wanting something. You're wanting to accumulate. You're wanting more and more. And when that doesn't happen as quickly or exactly the way that we had thought. In other words, the monster that we see is not the monster that we invented in our head. Becomes hard. But when we don't have any monsters in our horror movie, then the people that we see are not monsters at all. They're just people. Create the monster. And we create the monster because we want to accumulate monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. We put a costume in the Mara and we make it a monster.
Huh?
We make it a monster. We see the Mara, we put a costume on it, and it becomes more terrorizing. A costume, like no, just how do
That
you do that?
terror and that terror is an experience we lust for.
Yeah, got it.
Mikey, why don't we take this thing home?
Happily. Yes, thanks friends for being here today. If you're watching this on YouTube, come join us here on the Dhamma Friends Discord. There's a link to join in the video description. Do you want to give a shout out today to Dhammarato.com, Christopher, Jonas, myself. We've all been kind of playing around with it, and recently heard there's something over 1,000 transcriptions now of Dhammarato's talks, as well as talks that other people have hosted here on the Dhammarato Dhamma channel. So if you'd like to sort of read these talks or have them in that sort of readable format, yeah, go to Dhammarato.com and you can search through the transcripts for different words and different topics that you'd like to investigate. Yeah, it's fun to do. So yeah, we'd also invite you to check out OpenSanghaFoundation.org, where we've got things like our Sangha map, talks by Ajahn Dhammavidu, books by Bhikkhu Buddhadasa, and I suppose one more thing I'll mention is, yeah, we've been having kind of a lot of people doing various volunteer things. And one thing that's so great about volunteering here with this Sangha, there's no strict deadlines. Christopher, in fact, had asked me recently, he said, he had said, may not be able to get this next thing done soon. And I just said, well, as long as you get it done before you kick the bucket, we'll be okay. Yeah. So we kind of like to play around and just have fun when we're volunteering, and we're just kind of making a game out of it, having a good time. So if you'd like to come join us, you're welcome to. There's plenty of things to assist with and have fun with. But yeah, you can also
Christopher's got a bucket. I don't have a bucket.
You've got a bowl. You've got 2 bowls, in fact.
Pot, a pot.
Yeah, a pot. Right, a pot. That's right. Okay. So anyways, friends, that's enough from Mikey today. Yeah, welcome to stay here. Keep chatting. Keep making friends in the Sangha. It's a wonderful thing to do. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Take it easy. Take care. Remember, don't worry. Be happy.
Yes, everything is already okay. So I invite everyone to just stay on the call. I'm going to leave now. Let everybody have each other and make some friends. This is really what Sangha is about, is having a lot of noble friends who can help you stay happy all the time. Stay noble. Thank you so much. So bye-bye.
Thanks, Dhammarato.
Right,
Thanks,
Dhammarato.
Dhammarato.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Okay.